Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. I am super excited about our episode of Transcending the Culture today. We are missing Cat Queen. I don't know. Traffic, something's happened, but Cat Queen may be joining us tonight. But nevertheless, we are going to go ahead and get started. Tonight's episode has been planned for quite some time. So, again, I am excited to have our guest on tonight. I'm actually just going to go ahead and get into it. So tonight's conversation is one that so many caregivers don't necessarily know that is needed, but they deeply deserve it. Caregiving is often framed as love, sacrifice, and strength, but rarely do we talk about exhaustion, identity loss, or emotional survival. Our guest today challenges the idea that time is the biggest issue caregivers face, and instead, she asks us to look at something far more powerful, and that is energy. She is an author, an advocate, an autism mom, and the voice behind the book Energy Management Mantras for Caregivers, a work that speaks not only to autism parents, but to anyone who is caring for a child or a loved one with lifelong needs. And we are stressing that it's not just about autism, but it's about people all over the caregiving spectrum. So I really would love it if you guys could help me to welcome tonight's guest to Transcending the Culture, Mamta Jha Mishra. Hello.
Hi, James. How are you doing? Thank you so much for inviting me to on your platform. I'm honored.
I think I'm honored to have you. It's really good, I think, for people to know our journey and just, how we came together. And I think in the very beginning, and you know this already, but I was nervous, I was reluctant, I was scared, and I kind of didn't really know which way was up. So, in some ways I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is really going to be good, but I think as we really became friends, we grew to know each other. And then, of course, I was able to get down there to Gaston and
Yes.
really see everything that was going on. It's just like, this is a match made in heaven. And we've kind of had some moments where we had to really sit down and break things down and figure out, okay, what are we doing here? But I think that all that conversation, it was good for my mental, it was good for my brain. And
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
excited. So I'm glad that we are here. And just the whole idea of, caregiving and, being an autism mom, I'll start there. I think that resonates with so many people. And I mean, I've told you how it resonates with me. And obviously, I'm not an autism parent, but
Yes.
I've had ADHD, and it was a struggle, especially in the very beginning, because you kind of have that denial phase. You think that, okay, I can fix it this way, and they don't know what they're talking about. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But you almost don't really know which way to turn. You don't know where to get information from. So I think that everything that you have put together over the last 20 plus years, like, it's amazing. And I can only really wish that I had that, when I was,
Thank you. Thank you.
like, my son is turning 20 this year.
Oh,
And
wow.
sometimes I think that he probably still needs some of the stuff that you have out there. But I mean, luckily he's doing very well. But
Nice.
I do
Good.
think sometimes, like, I wish I had, what she has, way back then. I think that even for as well as we did as parents, I think that we could have done even better. So
All of us, I think all of us go through that, James, but
absolutely.
so I want to let the audience know that James and I have become friends, and he is my publicist for my new book, The Energy Management Mantras for Caregivers. And thank you so much, James. Yes, you are in Ohio, and I am here in Gadsden, Alabama.
Yes.
And yes, you had your concern that, well, this distance may hinder us in our mission to promote this book. And the reason that we want this book in everybody's hands is because we talk about kids and people who we are taking care of, but we do not talk about how to replenish our own energy, because that is demanded from us all the time. Energy is the capacity to do work or ability to do work, and that's the definition in physics. But actually, our ability to do work is diminished because the demand that it takes on us in caregiving. Everybody is a caregiver, uh, James, because
Absolutely.
but then the degree of care demanded from caregivers like us. I have Parag who has autism, and actually, believe it or not, he turned 31. I can't believe that,
Yeah.
and he was diagnosed when he was 2 years and 7 months of age.
Yeah. They
So
grow so fast.
yes, yes, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
he's a joy. He's a mess actually, but
Yeah.
so, yes, we need to figure out how to replenish ourselves with positivity and enthusiasm. And so this book actually is a guide. It says on the book that it is a guide to bring to guide people towards happiness and hope.
Right. I think the just the whole title of it, energy management, like how did you get to a place where obviously where it became clear to you that your energy was, really the most important thing in that. And I asked that because I know that, even going through our struggles, it never crossed my mind at all.
Oh, what happened was like it is like it's so confusing. Anytime when you go through any kind of diagnosis for a disease or a disorder, I'm pretty sure when your son got diagnosed with ADHD, it must have been so so devastating. Like it's different, it's challenging. Now what do I do? So you don't have all that um, tools and coping mechanism, and still you are trying to do something about it. But when so that is very energy depleting. We
Right.
have, and that is the same with autism. Autism is a spectrum disorder
And
that affects the
it's
children.
it's interesting that you mentioned energy depletion. And I just wanted to cut in real quick because kind of one of the comments that I had was, a lot of caregivers, they feel like there's just not enough time in the day for them to get things done and for them to handle the things that they need to handle. But nobody ever really talks about like the emotional side of it and the emotional depletion. So I'm glad you mentioned energy depletion.
Yes, it is. Actually, it is energy depletion. And because what happens is, I, you asked me, how did I figure this out? Actually, when I was working with Parag, I was like a headless chicken
Yeah.
because I don't know the cause, I don't know the cure, and I'm trying to do something. And
Uh-huh.
there's so much information out there. Once you type in autism put Google in the Google search bar, 531 million results pop up in 44 seconds. So imagine. And then, as a mother, when Parag got diagnosed, I was like, I have to do everything to for him so that he'll be all right.
Right.
And that is, actually when it's like denial, because and the day I read, and that denial and then trying to do so many things
Yeah.
is really leads is depletion of energy.
Right.
And that makes us, and because we are in that state, what happens is we are not synergized to do. So we are doing this, we are doing that, so many demands from us, and we are confused.
Yeah.
So confusion at the bottom line is not bad, because when you're confused, actually I have I mentioned in this book is I talked to my dad. I said, Dad, I'm very confused. What do I do? Parag is diagnosed
I remember
with
you
autism.
told me that.
Yeah, and James, he said, no confusion, no learning.
Yeah.
So that means the confusion at the bottom, there is a need, there is a search. That's why I'm confused. So because of that, what happened was, with God's grace, and I've told you that I believe in the power of prayer. So I really prayed for direction. And the direction that I got was that I went to Jacksonville State University to get my second master's in special education. My first one is in English literature from India, from Delhi University.
Okay.
And that gave me a direction because I was learning in the university evidence-based research and applying in my home school, which I have been running for 25 years. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it is very important to figure out what suits you and suits your family, and then apply those, do something about it. None of us actually really know, but I did applied behavioral analysis with a lot of common sense. Now, when we talk about James, about applied behavioral analysis, people are like, oh no, it is huge. Under that umbrella, I chose four things, and that is discrete trial training, and then incidental teaching, and then contextual teaching, and teachable moments. So these are the four things I chose, and that is what my homeschool is based on. And in my first book, Autism, Our Journey and Finding Happiness, I have talked about all these teaching styles. But I want to today I want to share the message from both of my books, and that will help the people out there. In this first book, I have said that, talk to all special need kids, and even when they're nonverbal, because they understand.
Yeah.
I know that Parag understands, and he was totally nonverbal until age 4.
Yeah.
And then he started talking, but it was just repeating words after us without attaching meaning. And that is echolalia. So, and the second message is that they don't give us hard time because they want to give us hard time. It's
Right. Right.
just that they are overwhelmed by the sensory overload, which also is kind of processed into emotional overload. Imagine how trapped one is when you and I are able to talk,
Mhm.
still we feel that, oh, we didn't get the point across.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
imagine, so that is why. So this time, actually, and that I am the founder of Autism Foundation of Gadsden, Alabama, and this
Absolutely.
is the fifth annual Autism Conference on
I
18th
know.
18th of April here in Gadsden. And the platform is also through virtual platform. We share it throughout United States of America. So in this time, I'm going to talk about recognizing and effectively managing meltdowns and tantrums, which is
Right.
a huge thing. So now coming back to the energy, is that in the second book that I have talked about, is it's a lot of energy depletion also in managing all this. Like, we are already feeling that we don't have the right answer, we don't know what to do, how to do, and
Mhm.
then managing the behavioral part of the kids, because they are not doing that purposely, they're not trying to give us hard time, it's just that they are overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that helps, like, uh, when you have certain direction, when you take certain stand and then start working towards it, path starts opening up,
Right.
and that synergizes you. That is what has happened to me, is that taking instead of be drowning in that tsunami
Yeah.
of information, I decided that, with God's grace, I decided that I'm going to go to the university, get this education and figure out. So, and it is a lot of common sense. What I teach, the way I teach Parag, and it's like, and but I do believe that common sense is the most uncommon thing.
Listen, that is one of the biggest truths of tonight. That yeah, you are so right. I just think the beauty of the beauty of energy management mantras for caregivers is it gives you the tools to to basically know which step to make next and what to do next. And like I said, if I had had something like this in place, I think I could have done, even better than what I did. I went through the denial phase, and I kind of didn't really know, like you said, you don't really know what to do, and you have so many thoughts and ideas in your head, and you don't know who's telling you right, who's telling you wrong. Like when you talk about energy management, over time management, what was it, or do you feel like there was anything that you were trying to get the reader to acknowledge or to realize, as they, really, took the next steps?
Yes, that's a great question. So what happens is we are kind of trained to think everything in terms of time. And that's why we make schedules and timetables. And most of the time we fail ourselves in doing
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
we are always huffing and puffing, and still time is ahead of us. So the reason for that is, James, is that time is infinite and our time on Mother Earth is limited. So if we pace with time, we will always be at time deficit. And then we try all these things. Okay, then we start something is lined up. For example, a student and the exam is, so they start drinking coffee, sugary food to try to get that catch up.
Yeah.
But actually what they are missing on is energy. If you can synergize, you can manage your energy better, then the time automatically falls into place. So, and yes, so in that, yes, uh, prioritizing is important.
Absolutely.
Compart- Compartmentalization is important. So focusing. For right now, when I'm with you here, a lot of things are happening around me, but my 100% attention is you.
Right.
And this program that we are doing together. So that is something that you one has to learn, that to be here right now, right here. And that is one big aspect of energy, but that doesn't come. It comes because what happens is the when we are taking care the, uh, of our loved ones with diagnosis that is like chronic or incurable, things like that, then it is very dissipating because we are in that negative energy field,
Absolutely.
and there's no hope. uh, so we go in that energy state. So in my book, what I have it is divided into 4 sections. The first one is personal energy state, in which I talk about 3 energy states. And so the first energy state is energy state of joy. The second one is happiness. And third one is the negative mental energy state of sadness,
Yeah.
extreme sadness, depression. And in this book, I have tried to talk about how we can oscillate between 2 higher energy state,
Yeah.
joy and happiness. And to avoid at all condition the third mental energy state, and that is the negative mental energy state.
Right.
And I say this because I was there. I was in that state when Prague got diagnosed. I just spiraled into that space. Not that I thought that I was, nobody wants to go in that state purposefully.
Yeah.
But once you go in there, it's like a vortex, it sucks you in. And then it is very hard to dig ourselves out. It is like a hypnosis, it's like
Yeah.
it transfixes you. And if you if you know that we think 70,000 thoughts per day, of
Yeah.
which almost 80% of the thoughts are negative, and then most of the thoughts are repetitive.
Yeah.
So how to come out of that, how to so that to me happened was like, I learned something, when I was in that energy state. I learned something that I have given in this book, and I know it's nowhere there, is how to switch on mental flip switch.
Yeah.
That is when we, so in while I was going in that vortex of negativity, and it's like it's a free fall.
I
And
get
then,
it. Like I absolutely get it. I don't believe that I went through that state, but I do believe that Kat has gone through that state. And I think she's actually popping in now. Um I believe she has gone through that state. And sometimes I think she may still be there. And I think it's kind of inevitable, when you're dealing with so many different things with your child or whomever it is that you're caring for. It may not necessarily be a child, but when you're going
yes.
through so many things and you're trying to make sure that they are good, and it's like you're neglecting yourself in a sense. And sometimes you get to that state where you feel like I'm never going to really be able to do anything because I have to. I sometimes think that either she's been through it or she may even still be going through it. I can see her getting her camera together, so she'll be up in a second. But
Oh, okay. I'd love to meet her.
actually, I'm going to pull her in now because I think her camera's
Perfect, perfect.
Cat Queen.
Oh, hi,
Hello.
Kat. Oh, it's so great to meet you.
So
Ultimately, we have been
great.
talking about you, and
I'm just so excited to meet you. Listen, I have been having one of the autism mom days. Just, one of those days where it's like something goes wrong and something else goes wrong. And something
oh
I'm just like,
yeah, you tell
you
me. I
know.
know that.
So I hear you. I was listening to you guys' conversation as I was dealing with my responsibilities. So it's just so nice to something in the community is about connection. And
Yes,
so it's nice to finally connect with you. I'm
yes.
I'm so happy.
So actually,
Same.
I'll let you go ahead and jump in, Kat, since we've been talking for about 15 minutes already.
Hi, I'm Kat. Nice to meet you.
Same here, Kat.
Most of our transcenders know that, I am an autism mom. But we have similar stories, but everything is different. These kiddos, they always try to put them in the same box, and this is what this means, and this is what to expect, or oh, I met this one autistic person, I've met them all. So I know my journey is similar to yours, but a little different. I deal with level 3, one of the toughest
Yes.
cases, you know, um, just high supervision, some kind of low function in some areas, high functioning in some areas. We call her the little our little detective, because you can't get
Oh,
anything past her.
yes.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to share my journey with you because I look forward to sharing my story as an author as well. How important do you think sharing these stories is to not only our community but everyone?
Oh, it's absolutely necessary. Actually, it's very, very important because, as you said, it's a spectrum. Autism is a spectrum
Mhm,
disorder. So it's not everybody is affected, and in in the degree it could be different. So it
mhm,
could be level 3, 2, or 1, and but having a community, having a tribe is very important, Kat, because
mhm,
that takes us out from that isolation.
mhm,
Otherwise, we are all isolated and
mhm,
we are like islands. So
mhm,
I really believe that through this what we are doing right now, through my book, through the autism conference that I do, we are creating a tribe, where
mhm,
our tribe, where we get seen, heard, understood, and so do
Mhm.
our kids, because
Yeah.
40% of our kids are nonverbal. So
Mhm.
Parag too, if you, one thing that you mentioned that your daughter is level 3, well, Parag was diagnosed as level 3.
Mm.
He was, yeah. And today, I mean, he's highly functional. And yes, we have challenges. He still is limited in his verbal communication, but
Mhm.
he's an artist and he's a savant. And I brought actually the this cover is his painting.
That's so beautiful.
Yes. Yes. And before you came, there was something James had asked me, and I was talking about being in that negative space,
Mm.
about it. And I
Mhm.
figured out something, that is what I want to share with you and people out there, is that the mental flip switch happened to me was when I was in that vortex, in the dark, negative space, and
Mhm.
the fall was free. I was transfixed. And then in that moment, and always I believed in the power of prayer.
Mm.
So I'm like,
Yes.
God, help me, help me. And in that one moment, it said, I'm not going to fall. That's what I told myself. And the moment I said I'm not going to fall, it was activating that mental flip switch. And I
Mhm.
looked up.
Mhm.
I looked up and then I knew the way out of that dark vortex. And that is so when people, when I don't want to make it abstract, I'll make it so simple. Well, so this is something like, when I was little, and if I spilled water, my grandma would, like, I'm about to cry, and my grandma would say, "Oh, amazing, you did great. The ancestors were thirsty, and now they got water." So instead of
Mhm.
boohooing and crying, I'm like, oh, great, I did something good. That is it. And that is a great thing, because in that moment when you have to think of something. And sometimes
Mhm.
I do fail in flipping that switch. It doesn't happen right away, but something positive. So this book, that energy management mantras, is how it's like people will say, okay, we have to align ourselves to mental, emotional, and spiritual energy, which I've said, but how? And this book tells
Mm.
you how. And for that, decluttering is very important. I know you,
Mm.
because we are mothers, we blame ourselves. Where did we go wrong? What did we do? And that, yeah, and from that guilt comes so many other negativities. So decluttering of that is very
Mhm.
important, and it is not a one-time deal. It is so
It's
just like
not.
you don't do spring cleaning one time of your
Mm.
home the same way. So the mental decluttering is also a thing that we have to address again and again.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. And, I always told myself, I'm not going to fall. I'm going to stand on my 2 feet and I'm going to keep going. But sometimes it feels like, how you're falling and you're catching yourself and you're one step away from falling. That's what it sometimes feels like I'm catching myself. I'm stumbling through it. And sometimes it's not beautiful and it's not how I would want to do it, but I'm getting through. And I have to understand that I'm doing a good thing. Like your grandmother said, like I'm doing the right thing. It may not be in the perfect way or the way I expected or anybody else expected, but it still is beauty in that. It's still, so I try to tell myself that. I did want to ask you, because this book is full of all kind of mantras. What is one mantra you would tell me, a mother that's kind of in the thick of it right now? Some words you would give me.
one mantra that I want to share, not just with you, but uh, I really adhere to it. I follow it, and that is simplify. You know,
Mm.
simplify. Yes.
Mhm.
And that you have to figure it out, Kat. Everybody
Mm.
has their life, their routine, and so many things. So you have to figure out how you will simplify that. For me,
Mm.
when Prague was little, I had people giving me advice. I'm confused. I'm already confused because there is no cure, there is no,
Mhm.
and I don't know the cause. And then it is so many advice. And I want to do everything because that's my child. I love that
Mhm.
child. You know, but
Yeah.
but how can I do everything? It's humanly impossible.
Mhm.
So then you have to choose that this is very important. Before you came, we talked about prioritizing and compartmentalization.
Mhm.
So once we prioritize, then does that mean? Now I'm going to compartmentalize. I am
Mhm.
going to do this, execute it. It may not be the right execution, but I'm
Mhm.
doing something about it. So slowly and slowly, one step at a time, one day at a time, you reach somewhere. But with all the like, so that is what you have to figure out, simplify. And that's the biggest mantra I can give to any mother out there, because in this information age, it is so confusing. And
Mhm.
so figure that out, because Parag was, when he was little, he wouldn't eat. He was very picky about, and today he's a foodie. And believe me, if yeah, we are in my house. When you come, that pantry is locked, and I have to hide the key,
Yeah.
because I think he has a sixth sense. He figures out where the key is, and he invades my pantry.
And who does
That
that
sounds
sound
like
like?
Kayla.
That is Michaela. So we have a back room that we call it the secret snack cabinet, and it's like a little
Ah,
chest that, well, you would never think is snacks in there. But like we and the like my nieces and nephews, we try to like keep it from her because you can't get anything past her. Like she will hear a rapper from another room upstairs and like,
ah,
what do you have? What are you eating? Anything I try to hide, leftovers or anything, it's over. In the morning, I'm like, I thought I hid something. And my mom's like, yeah, you thought you hid it. Like Michaela already got it. It's done. So it's just so funny how if it's something they want, there is no stopping them. So it's like you have to find those motivators, and sometimes that can be a motivator. You can use just different things, something that they like. Every skill that I taught Michaela was always in a different way. It was always, our own way. It was
oh yeah.
never just, and the thing I always hated was the advice. The advice was just everyone was an expert. Everyone, and Michaela is 17. So when she was diagnosed, this was, not something everyone was, aware of, or like how it is now. It was just not as mainstream. Like we didn't have characters on TV with autism and things like that. So people would give me advice like, "Oh, well, I wouldn't deal with that, and I would do this, and I would do that," and I'd be like, they would be like, "If she didn't eat that, she wouldn't leave the table." Well, listen, we would be there for 157 days. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't care. I had to find out how to work with her. And, once I found out what she likes, and sometimes it's texture things, sometimes it's, whatever. But early interventions and, action is the best thing, we can do for our
Oh yeah.
children. One of my mantras that I have been taking on lately is something I actually got from TikTok. Um,
Uh-huh.
it's a
Interesting. Tell
song.
me.
Yeah, it's a song, and it says, "That's not my problem. That's just not my problem." So I took that, and if it's not, like you said, prioritize, I have to prioritize. If it's not my priority right now, guess what? It's not my problem. It's
Yeah.
not my problem. It's the people's opinions of me, people's opinions of Michaela, how they think I should be doing, how they think she should be. It's not my problem. And I can't internalize that. All I can do is
Yeah.
live my life to the fullest, live it with my baby, and I'm letting all those things go. How
That's
important is letting that go? Letting the expectation of who you think you should be and who you think your child should be.
so it's very important. And you just, so like, in when I give talks, I tell people, this is very important, that so I tell them not to worry, because
Mm,
when, and we worry. We
Mhm.
make mountains out of molehill, okay?
Mhm.
Because in a mind's eye, what happens, in mind's eye, we start imagining things, and then the reality may not be like that, may not turn out
Mhm.
like that. But we spend that much of time by worrying. It is the most dissipating thing energy wise. It dissipates our energy. So yeah. So what I tell people is that, and it's a great video I share. When Prague was little, I used to think, oh my God, when he'll grow up, how will I teach him to shave? And in my mind's eye, I used to see him bleeding and cutting himself
Mhm.
and rolling on the floor, what not, cat. And then when the time came, the first video of his shaving is something I share. He was so happy like a lark, because now he was shaving. He was like he must have seen his dad, his brother, uncle, and he was so happy shaving, and it just turned out perfect. He had seen, so I didn't even have to really teach him. And so that makes me share something very important, you know and my wisdom has not come from reading scriptures. It has come from watching Disney movies with Parag, and this one comes right from Kung Fu Panda. Okay. Yeah. So yesterday is a history. Tomorrow is a
Mhm.
mystery.
Mhm. Mhm.
Today is a gift. Today is a gift. That's why it is called present. So we shouldn't worry. And that
Mhm.
is what I'm going to ask everybody. And you just said it, what you got from TikTok, I got from a Disney movie. Let it let it go, let it go. That's the song. That's my song.
Yes, yes.
The
Listen, we are a
Frozen.
Disney
Yeah.
family over here, so those are some of our favorites. And I think people forget how many like life lessons are in these Disney movies.
Oh my God.
That's
Yes.
just listen. We just got into like High School Musical last week. So listen, she's like, I'm showing her all the stuff. I'm like, listen, honey, let me open your world to a whole. What did Jasmine say? A whole new world.
You're good at singing. Oh, I can't. I don't.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to go back to the diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see my mom in the room. She's saying that's her song too. Um, I ended up writing a short story about my daughter getting diagnosed. Um, she around 2 3 years old, is when they really, start kind of looking at different things, different milestones. I was very very young, I think 19 years old, going through these things. um and sometimes care providers can be callous. They can be just not what you want. And so I had a provider that just stood over me and basically just spewed, well, how could you not know? And
Right.
she's missing these milestones and things. And keep in mind, she was only a couple markers off from the cutoff. So she was very, right there. But he yelled at me, and he handed me a pamphlet about autism, and that was it. And he said, if you need to cry, you have this room for 5 minutes, and then you can, that's it. So the next person is coming in. That
Oh,
was it. I'm 19 years old. All I have is a pamphlet, and I'm looking at these big eyes of this kid that in my eyes is perfect. I'm just
yeah.
like, what do I do? And I just remember grabbing her up and, just going in the car, and I was driving, and I can remember putting on my windshield wipers because I'm like, it's raining. What? This is just a horrible day. And I ended up pulling over because I realized it wasn't raining. I was crying. you
Oh,
know so it was a really defining moment in my life. But as I sat there and I looked at my daughter and I had that pamphlet in my hand, I just told her, I said, I don't know where this will take us. But if you're here, I'm here. There's nothing that I won't do. We'll figure this out. And since then, like I said, early intervention. Michaela has been mainstreamed in school. Like, she went to the same kindergarten, middle school, high school. She has a lot of the same peers. Goes to a lot of classes. When we go on a community, I mean, everybody knows her. They're like, "Oh, hi,
Awesome.
Michaela." I'm like, "Oh," like they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yes, she was in my class, or we were in a dance program and things." So I'm glad that she gets that, that camaraderie with her community. But it just, I always think of that moment of resilience. What does that look like for you and your child, that
Um,
resilience?
So yeah, I mean, what you shared, not all care providers are like that.
Hmm. Yes.
The pediatrician who diagnosed autism for Parag, actually, he was very kind. And
Mm-hmm.
in my book, I have, like in my first book, Autism: Our Journey and Finding Happiness, I have talked about, uh, of course, when he diagnosed autism, I had not even heard the word autism. I
Mm-hmm.
did not know what he was telling me. And then so he says, no, it is a lifelong disorder. And now it's nothing. The processing, I can process it. Like, oh my God, well, you're trying to tell me that he'll never be okay. So that is shocking. But he was kind. He told me that now you take him to the speech therapist, occupational
Mm-hmm.
therapist, and he lined me up with people,
Mm-hmm.
who will be doing that happened. However, what you have brought up, there is something I want to share with everybody. Denial is not just for the caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they too, the care providers are also in
Mm-hmm.
denial. And what
Mm-hmm.
you have been bringing again and again is like early intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, early intervention is a must. And you have to know before you came. I was talking to James, and I said that you have to figure out a path to chart through. So I did homeschool, but I shared my kid. Everybody in town knows Parag.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in town knows Parag. So yeah, because I went to a restaurant and this lady, she says, "Hi, Parag, you sit down, I'll bring you Sprite." She didn't know me, but she knew Parag because Parag had been there with his teacher. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was trying to tell you, Kat, is that there are times when the care providers you feel that, oh my gosh, my kid is not meeting the milestone, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the developmental milestone. So you go and they may say, oh, it's okay, they will
Mm-hmm.
start talking later. That's fine. So I am going to give this to all the people who are listening over there. There is a free internet based thing
Mm-hmm.
called internet based questionnaire, and it is called m-chat, m-chat, and you can take the questionnaire or the questions on the behalf of your toddler. And if you have
Mm-hmm.
certain points, you can start the process. You
Mm-hmm.
can take it to the pediatrician, you can take it to the psychologist and start the process. You shouldn't wait. you
Mm-hmm.
know so that is something that is very important. I sincerely believe that if Parag got diagnosed at 2 years and 7 months of age, by the time I had my homeschool and everything kind of figured out, he was 5 years old. So I was doing so. Imagine that time of trying to figure out how the school will run. And the school, when I talk about school, is I will not hire a PhD who doesn't have a heart.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The girl who is right now with Parag, she's amazing. She has
Mm-hmm.
she has this she's caring, and Parag loves her. So they both are, it's amazing to see them together. And she has this desire to learn. So then we all are team. I teach Parag, so every Tuesday and Saturday is my day
Yeah.
to teach. And then I did not, yes, I'm a caregiver. I did not go outside in spite of the degree. And I have I'm highly educated, but I chose not to, so that I could run this homeschool. And with God's grace, today I have this opportunity I did not plan anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's God's plan. Prague, the day I realized that Prague is a blessing from God, I was his parent, I was his
Mm-hmm.
mother. But that day I became his true guardian and protector. And then one thing has
So
led to
beautiful.
another, to the point where I have two books which I had never
Mm-hmm.
planned. And I have, like, this foundation where we are trying. So this conference that we cater, which is the Together We Can Make a Difference, and it's the fifth annual autism conference on 18th of April. Oh boy, Kat, the energy, the synergy, tremendous. And
Mm-hmm.
and there was a point, I know you were there too, and many
Mm-hmm.
mothers out there, grandmothers, because many grandmothers, they follow me, so
Mm-hmm.
because they have custody of these children, or
Mm-hmm.
the single parent, so then
Mm-hmm.
they are taking and they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing. And I was so lost, so lonely. And now it feels like, oh my gosh, the tribe is coming together.
Yeah.
And something amazing has happened. I want to share this. Prague, so over the years, Prague has a vocational training program where I taught him to make all these potteries, the air dry pottery. He
Mm-hmm.
makes candles and body care products. So I could teach him because my grandpa was acharya in Ayurveda, which is natural
Mm-hmm.
medicine, and I used to help my grandma. It came all full circle. I didn't know one day I'll be teaching all this to Prague. So Prague Cosmetic is the website through which we sell his product. But what happened in COVID, like his products were not selling, I brought these small canvases, and all I knew was splatter painting. So I taught that. Third day, he took the brush upside down and he wiggled. James came to my home and he has seen all these paintings.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Beautiful.
It is. It is
So
absolutely
and I'm
unbelievable.
bringing what you brought, that all these kids, they are on the spectrum. They it's
The
not that
spectrum.
they
Yes.
similar, they don't have the same, but they have similar, like, challenges. It could be in communication, the degree may be different. It
Mm-hmm.
could be socialization, degree may be different. And then behaviors, so the more logged they are, the more we see those behaviors. So that's why this
Mm-hmm.
time I have been praying, God, give me the strength, because I'm talking on, like, the recognizing and effectively managing meltdown and tantrums. So
Mm-hmm.
I for almost 4 years I have been getting this request. So this time, anyhow, I want you to show something. So Prague, he painted this. This is one of his paintings. And when he writes his name, I want you to see that. Well, that's when he's done. But he wasn't painting it like this. He was painting it like this, upside down.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
So now you see. And then when it was done, he did this. And this is the time when before that, I used to get, because he pours paint, he does what, so it
Mm-hmm.
feels so random. But
Mm-hmm.
the end results are beautiful. But before this painting, till he painted this, I was always nervous, like, oh my God, he's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
he always had a plan of action. He knew what he was doing. It was not my plan of action, because with a neurotypical brain, I'm thinking A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From with his neurodivergent brain, he's thinking A to D, come to C, finish at B. So
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to see one more painting. This is what,
Yep.
yeah. So this is
So
the
beautiful.
sunrise from my backyard. And
Mm.
so my book actually the first one got translated in Spanish language also recently. And that's the publisher chose that painting.
That's so beautiful. Oh,
Beautiful.
it's on the front and the back. That is so nice.
So, Kat, I want everybody over there to know that there is hope. And
Mhm.
if we all come together, oh my God, we can unlock tremendous talent.
Mhm.
God
Absolutely.
has sent everybody on this Mother
Mhm.
Earth with their innate talent, but we have to know, we have to see and give them that tools and
Mhm.
encouragement. And I know they can find
Mhm.
their talent.
What
That's so
advice?
beautiful.
I got one question. What advice do you give to parents in terms of letting go in a way to help their children find their brilliance? And I ask that because I see all the amazing artwork that Parag has done. The
Mhm.
cream for my knee worked amazingly. I never had the chance to tell you that, but
Oh, wow. Thank you.
it worked amazingly. So I'm actually putting together, we've been doing for the podcast now, we've been doing kind of like sponsorship ads where, an ad will cut in between and we'll talk about a product and that sort of thing. And I've actually been putting
Mhm.
something together for the cream because it worked
Thank
amazingly for
you.
my knee. And the reality is I need a knee replacement. I had surgery probably 20 years ago, so it's going bad. I did see ortho, but that cream has like I'm in heaven right now. Like
Thank
I'm
you. Thank you,
receiving these
James.
things, everything. But I say all that to say that like his brilliance is like through the moon, and he's doing these paintings, he's making these different products, and then when I look at my little cousin Michaela, like it can be anything. Like Cat can with the iPad, the kids, they want to be on the iPad and they want to do XYZ, and Kat can put all the restrictions on there and lock it down, and she'll come
No,
back in the room
no,
and
I
Michaela
know
has figured it out.
exactly what you're saying.
Every time
Like
she
she's brilliant.
re-downloads it, every time.
Like she's brilliant. And I think that a lot of
Mhm.
times that goes unnoticed, when you're dealing with healthcare providers who just
Mhm.
assume that, okay, this child's not going to be able to do anything and they're not going to go any further. And a lot of parents, sometimes they kind of fall victim to that and they start to believe it. So what advice do you give to, autism parents, in terms of helping their children, their autistic children realize, their brilliance and their talent?
So this it's a great question. So the first thing is that we it's not that the school system doesn't want to help,
Right.
okay? Because I know Kat's daughter has gone through the school system, okay? But the
Yes.
school system is overwhelmed,
Yeah.
okay? And not all kids, even neurotypical kids, are not geared towards taking these standardized tests. Okay, so what I have done with Parag, realizing that he is, I knew that he won't be able to defend. He went to middle school till fifth grade in a private school where there is a bylaw. Okay, and then I knew if I send him to middle school, he won't be, if there was any um, of course, the bullying, or if there was like he can't defend himself.
Right.
Okay, so that that made me decide to do full-time homeschool.
Yeah.
And he was going part-time, whatever we did, and then he went part-time to the school with an aide.
Okay.
So yeah, so what happens, to coming to your question, is that uh, we want the school system to do everything for,
Right.
and we have to figure out that how can we both, the school system and the parent, can work together.
Absolutely.
And that is when the brilliance comes out.
Absolutely. And that's the
So
blessing
clap,
that we had
yeah. So
working with the
clapping,
school.
yes. So clapping doesn't happen with one hand. I'm a teacher by profession, and I'm a mother of a special needs kid.
Yeah.
So I see both sides of the coin. Uh, so for me, it was like, because I have this education, I was able to, and there's no curriculum. I'm developing this curriculum, and one day, with God's grace, I know that I'll be able to share this curriculum to the school system, to have a apart from what they do, like have a vocational training program.
Yeah.
So that is something that I pray for. So people have to figure out like what their talent is, like kids talent, and then provide that tools. That, suppose I know one kid, and it just came in my head, so I'm going to share. And what happens a lot of times is that uh, we have to facilitate it, because this kid with autism, he is more knowledgeable than any of us about civil war.
Wow.
And then, yeah, and when he like his dad and all, they like, he'll come to his dad talking because that's his interest. But they don't know that the boundaries. So we have to figure out the boundaries. So the mother approached me and said, Mamta, this dad and son have this altercation, because he's watching football game, and the kid comes saying, hey dad, in the civil war, so what do we do? So I said, uh, it's okay, ask the dad to say that, hey, right now I'm watching this game, keep that question in your head, and I'm going to talk about it once the game is over. And then make sure that he does that, so that the kid knows that he has not been brushed off. So what I'm trying to say is that if
It's
they
very
have
important.
this innate the need for certain knowledge, don't stop them, but
Hmm.
also put conditions to it, put boundaries
Hmm.
to it. So just because one, like Parag, somebody said, then how many paintings can he make in a day or so? I'm like, he's not a factory. This is I'm sorry, that's how I
Hmm.
thought. I'm very candid,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
it. I'm very candid. I'll tell you what I think, and it is, Kat, one thing is very important, that we have, when we're talking about synergy, is that, like, we have so many thoughts,
Hmm.
70,000 thoughts per day, okay, 48.6 or something thoughts per minute, so that's how many thoughts we are having, and those are all redundant, most of them, okay. So when our thoughts, like, it's passive, when we catch that thought, and analyze it, that is when it becomes emotion. And it is very important. Emotion in Latin is emotere, which means, energy in motion. So when we start, like, our thoughts, when we are like, emotion is like when we catch it, but when we are thinking something positive, that is very important. So how
Hmm.
to make ourselves think positive, and then what we think, we say, and we do, and that is when we synergize. This is very important. So that's why I
Absolutely.
said that, the word that came out of my mouth is not a factory, the
Hmm.
that is it, like, it is
Hmm.
for him to be happy.
Hmm.
So that is what it is. So, and the productivity will come. The
Hmm.
fact that if Parag was not happy, I wouldn't be here today talking to you about this.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I think, and that's something that, has been thrust upon a lot of people that are disabled or differently able. It's like they expect them to just work or churn out something, or, and it's like they are a full person that is deserving of a full life, a full happy life. They're not just here for you, just like you want to go to work and get off of work. It's the same thing. They have a full life. They're a full person to us, and their family. They're a family member, they're a daughter, they're a son, they're a cousin. We don't look at them, we look at them like a whole person. And I think that's something that people that don't have a lot of exposure to the autism community or disabled community, I think that's something that they need to open up their minds about. Because as much as you have, what they say, the pursuit of like happiness, they have that as well. They were, like you said, God made all of us so beautifully made. Why would he
Absolutely.
bring us into these. We think about we are clumps of cells, and our cardiovascular system and things are so intricate. Why would he spend his time to create you if you aren't here for something? If he
Right.
didn't want you to be happy and be on this earth, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
So that's what I think of when I look at my child. She gives me so much joy and so much love that it's like I'm happy she's here no matter what I got to do for her. If I have to do this, if I have to do that, I will.
Yeah.
And so I did want to speak on something you said earlier. There are a lot of resources, especially in Ohio and in the county I am, Summit County. I actually am in the state of Ohio, a certified family peer supporter.
Right.
Which means that I am an advocate for peers, which means my peers are parents of children with special needs. So I service families with children with special needs. So that may be me going to, and like you said, IEP meetings, IEP, 504 plans. Like there are
Yeah.
plans, there are things that you can implement to make it so your kid can be comfortable going to school. Because even neurotypical kids can be bad test takers. And guess what? That can be proven, that can be helped. You can ask for extra test
Yeah.
taking time. Talk
Elijah
to your
got it.
children,
Yes.
ask them what they need. The thing about it is we want to have them in the least restrictive environment for them to thrive. And whatever we can do, and that was my job, was to figure out what the child needed and how to make that happen at the schools. And they listen, some schools loved me, some schools hated me. They said they said
Well,
I would walk in. They said I would walk in there like Olivia Pope and stuff, and like I would be coming into court. Like they even like they were calling my boss like, well, who is this new advocate, and whatever. And my boss said, I like that I'm getting that calls. That means you're doing your job. That means you're
yes.
doing what you're
Yes.
supposed to be doing. So there is help, and there is people to guide you. And I've learned and collected those people along the way. And my story has have been able to help so many people, even by giving one tip to a mom in the supermarket, one thing to, I had a best friend that had a kid during the pandemic that had some speech delays. And I sent her to the same program that eventually diagnosed Michaela. And guess what? He's right on time. He went through the speech therapy and he's perfect. He doesn't have any
Awesome.
issues. And,
What a great
and she
story.
was in that denial where her family was telling her, well, there's nothing wrong with him and don't worry about it. And I was telling her, like, look, learn from me. I grabbed her face, like, listen, I wish like it was almost like Back to the Future. I'm like, listen, do what you can immediately because it's so much easier to do
Yeah.
it when they're young
Yeah.
and when and my story is a little different because Michaela has regression. She has skill and language regression. And so a kid that was talking stopped talking. A kid that was looking at me stopped looking at me. A kid that this summer had a summer job is now struggling through school. So there is times where she's has these skills and there's some times where she doesn't. And I'm here to foster her in both of those times, to help her in both of those times. Because as old as I am today, my mom still does that for me. I was
Of
just crying
course.
last week and my mom was holding me talking about, oh baby, so
Yeah.
these are our children. And
Right.
what did Whitney say? I believe the children are the future. So
Yes.
these are our
Beautiful.
future. So it's like, please, like, let's give each other grace. Let's give these kids grace. Let's give them everything we can to make sure they can be happy and successful. And I'm
Yes.
so glad to meet a like-minded mother
Yeah.
and author and another
Thank
person.
you.
It feels so nice to be in the company of you, and I think that myself and a lot of others can learn a lot from you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. What you said. Uh, we don't Autism Foundation of Gadsden, Alabama. We did on 2nd of October. We did this caregiver skill training workshop, which we collaborated with World Health Organization and Autism Speaks. And it is an
Mhm.
internet-based program which has like 15 modules and which is 20 minutes long. So I went, we had this gathering of amazing people who came together, and not necessarily everybody had kids with autism. My volunteers, many of them, they don't, but
Mhm.
they are part of this cause. You don't have
Mhm.
have cancer to be a,
Mhm.
to be a person who is like, advocating for
Mhm.
treatment and things like
Mhm.
that, cheering that person up.
Mhm.
So that caregiver skill training program, I wish I had that when Prague got diagnosed.
Mhm.
Bless you, James.
Yeah.
you know. So what happened is that in that they tell you, when you were telling about this care provider, they tell you, hey, figure it out. Like it's almost as if you figure it out. But
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
caregiver skill training program is tremendous. And it has these videos. So I'm going to do a half an hour session. It was so powerful. I'm going to do it again. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is that in IEP meetings, the teachers, if like, a lot of times parents, we have taught ourselves all this. That's why we are
Mhm.
communicating. We
Mhm.
have now we have certain tools and coping mechanism for ourselves and for our kids. But
Mhm.
if through this program, I'm able to give that to him, hey, this is it right here.
Mhm.
These are the things that you can do. At least that's a fundamental, a platform to launch yourself.
Mhm.
Now, and going to the IP meeting, and then the teacher telling the parent, hey, go to this program and try do and learn something about this, and then we can
Mhm.
all be together. And you can also have a certificate with that. I love
Mhm.
that, and I shared it. So that is what you're telling me is that, and that's great. If there is somebody ahead of us, we have the
Mhm.
opportunity to learn from them, listen,
Yes.
learn, share, and then pass it on to
Mhm.
who have young children who are, like, they're recently diagnosed, so lost. So some of
Mhm.
the mothers, when they come to observe my homeschool, I tell them, hey, look, what you're seeing is 25 years of consistent and persistent hard work.
Yeah.
So that is
That's
how.
literally how it
So
is.
where
Mhm.
everything with Parag, they said he won't be able to do this. He won't be able to wear his clothes. He won't be able
Mhm.
to make his breakfast, lunch. Well,
Mhm.
he's proving everybody wrong,
Proving
and
them wrong. Yes.
in his own unique way. He's
Mhm.
not like me, or not, and you are not like anybody. Everybody
Mhm.
in this world
In
is
this
unique.
world,
Is
yes.
unique. So is Parag. So is
Mhm.
your daughter.
Mhm.
So that just I believe that one has to be kind in this the what
Mhm.
one has to be kind first to
Has
ourselves,
to be.
you know
Mhm.
first to ourselves, because we cannot give anything that we don't have. So we have to learn to
Yes,
be kind to
correct.
ourselves, to
Mhm.
forgive ourselves, and then learn
Forgive.
from, yeah, and then learn from the mistakes that we have
Mhm.
done. And then by forgiving, we are able to, to embrace others and be kind to others.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
you know what, people say, oh, how can we be kind? The kindness, I know, lies in a pause. The moment you think, the mental
Mhm.
switch that I was talking about, is that always how to think positive. Suppose somebody is
Mhm.
upset, and then they start saying things, and you're like, it's very easy to react. But if
Mhm.
we pause and think, maybe he or she's acting because she may have lost something or
Mhm.
lost
Mhm.
someone, maybe
Mhm.
a dog, a job, and that very pause of thinking makes us kind. The
Mhm.
moment we think kind, we speak kind and do some gestures of kindness. And I
Mhm.
think hug is the best drug, because everybody should hug each other and share kindness.
I really like that pause thing. I think I'm gonna take more time to that because I am a type of person that I can go from 0 to 10. Like I can get like irritated with something, like, I'm like, I get in the store in my car, the wheels wobbly, and then now this is going on and this is going on. And those domino effects that can affect the next person. That can affect the rest of my day. That can affect Michaela. And so I'm really trying to learn to, as much grace as I'm asking of everyone else, I have to give that to them. I can't, I can't want everyone to go, sly on me. And so I definitely am gonna take lessons here. James, know I have my handy dandy notebook right
Right,
here.
right.
And every guest that we have, I'm just like taking these notes, to just really try to be at peace. My daughter Michaela is graduating high school. She'll be going into some independent things. And our day-to-day life is going to be different. It's going to change. And so I just want to really be the best version of myself.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
and not always the rose that grow through concrete, or the thorny person that I'm strong and I'm I want to be, just because life has thrown me all this curveballs, I want to be soft and kind and mindful of other people's walk through life, because I think a lot of times we compare suffering and say my suffering is worse than your suffering, or
Hmm.
my trauma is worse than your trauma, and it's like it's not a contest.
No,
We have to give each other grace. And
no.
so that is something that I'm really taking my time with, and realizing that we are all human. We all
Yeah.
make mistakes. We all deserve grace. And what is important to someone, that's important to them, just as important as what's important to me. We all have to realize we are all connected.
Yes.
Bring it back to Lion King, in this great circle of life.
Yes, it is. It is. So, yes, what you're saying is this, once you are born on this earth, do you know any person who doesn't have challenges? If you
No.
know, that
That
person is a unicorn. No. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
no, my mom always said, if you're not going through something, you're dead. Like
Yeah.
you're not alive.
exactly.
There's no
Uh,
Yeah.
way.
She,
And you
she
have to
is
realize this.
definitely wise.
Yes, that's the wisest person. Yes, I love
Yes.
my mom, and she is, like you said, she is one of the grandparents that goes to the meetings and looks up things, and she prints out things all the time. If Michaela's doing something, Michaela's struggling with something right now at school, and my mom is constantly sending me articles or printing them out to me, like, well, I read this here,
Oh, so
and
sweet.
it's just something. So shout out to my mom. This is
Yes.
her giving a comment right now. Love you so much. I'm gonna have to buy her a copy of your book. I'm just so excited to read
Thank
it.
you. I'd love to meet her. I'd like you to
Mhm.
come. James has told me
Yes, I
he will
know.
I
He
was
come to
just
said
the
the
gonna say
next
I have to
time. The
drag her
next
down there
time.
with me
Yes.
when I come.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
would
Because
love to. I would love to see those paintings. See, I like to paint too. I'm an
Oh, yeah.
amateur, nothing in comparison to him. See, let me see if I can see. This is one of my favorite paintings I did.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
just,
Beautiful.
just space, and, like I have like little heart planets and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
Um, it's just something that I really like to do. I'm very artistic. I've always been. And I think that I'm giving myself the time to really enjoy the things that I used to do. I'm not just a mom. I'm not just a caregiver. I'm a full person, and I deserve to be happy and have
A-
all these things too.
Absolutely. You cannot give, that's
Hmm.
if you cannot give the like until unless you fill yourself up. So
Hmm.
this through this book, that is something I'm trying to tell that,
Hmm.
what do I mean by simplifying?
Hmm.
By decluttering, that mental
Hmm.
space. You create a space of positivity for you,
Mhm.
and once you're positive, that's how you can give to others.
Hmm.
It rubs off.
Hmm.
And what you were saying about pause, there's something I'm going to tell you.
Hmm.
So what happens is when we are in that energy state where we are not aligned, we are not centered, is so suppose somebody is upset for xyz reason,
Yeah.
Hmm.
then we just our breathing changes, and then our temperature, like you will feel your body temperature rising.
Mhm.
I,
Yes.
yes, I do yoga, and that
Hmm.
has helped me a lot. So in that moment, if you can remember to just take a couple of deep
Hmm.
breaths, that helps. But not only that, we call it, it's a Sanskrit thing that we call it Sahaj Swas, which means natural breathing. We are not even aware of our natural breathing. But just when, suppose we are talking and something is not, it's aggravating you, or like things like, I counsel for free all over the world through my Facebook page, Autism, Our Journey, and Finding Happiness. If I'm not wrong, it has 137,000 people. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, and
wow.
it's growing. Yeah, and it's
Giant
growing.
community.
Yeah, and it's growing strong. So yes, I too feel that I've been able to help. And then a lot of times I send my book for free to, if they have that need, or it is on Audible. It is free for a month. And then if they say they want to keep the book and they can't afford or whatever, then I give them the code. So yes, so what I'm trying to say is that it is very important to create that space. And once we do that, the what like you have to be very tuned. There are times, there are days, no matter what, Cat, it is,
Mhm.
and I call those autistic days, and I keep
Mhm.
away from people because I
Mhm.
need that time. That
James
time
laughing
to
because he know
cool.
that's how I
Look,
am.
I get it
and
though. I get
oh,
it.
James, one time I was talking at uh, one of the talks, and I said I try to keep away from people, and my husband is there. He says, "And from me too."
Mhm.
I get it.
but
Yeah.
that is a practice.
Mhm.
Nobody deserves to just have the splatter effect of uh,
Mhm.
my energy, which is not centered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in that, what one thing that helps is, like, people say, oh, you can count till 10. Oh, I can count till 100. And if I'm in that space, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
then what do I do? It
Mhm.
is like, when you boil water and you put a spoon in it, it's cold. But when it is in the contact of that water, it gets hot.
Yes.
so
Mhm.
that is so that is how to separate, until unless you
Yeah.
separate the spoon out of that. I have to separate myself and
Mhm.
come into that calm space. And that is
Yeah.
a learning thing. And the
Mhm.
easiest thing is to know your breathing. In that
Mhm.
moment, if you can draw your mind to your breathing, it somehow synergizes you, it somehow cools you. And one thing you can always do is that you can put your that left hand on your tummy and right hand on your heart, and then you can always feel your breathing.
Mm.
You can
Mm.
try it and see.
Because I like to do yoga, and I'm always calm in there. But like when I get out of there, like I really am trying, because energy is so transferable. It's so, and like people, like you said, they don't deserve because I'm going through something. So James, no, sometime I'll shut down for a week or two.
Yeah.
He'll be calling me because I'm going through some. I don't want to pat, look, just give me a second. I'll be back to normal, but it does when you're dealing with these extreme things, and it doesn't always have to be autism or parenting. It could be anything.
It can,
You do have to take that time until you're centered
that means
and
you're human.
mhm, human.
Only Buddha is
Hmm.
like enlightened human being.
Hmm.
That because they are in that space of where they don't react. We are
Hmm.
mere humans, we
Yeah.
react all the time.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
we have to learn to respond, and it's like teaching. And the reason of that enlightened human being, or Buddha, we call enlightened human being. Over here people say Buddha. It's Buddha.
Hmm.
So it's like their heart is full of love and wisdom.
Mhm.
That is why they don't react, they respond. But we are mere human beings, trying to do all these things and juggle our day and thinking all the time in terms of time. If we
Mm,
start thinking in terms of energy, then we will be so much in a better place, with energy management, and that's the ability to do work. Our ability to do work, which is what is demanded from us all the time,
mhm,
increases.
Yeah. Now, I think this is these conversations, as I know both of you realize, like they're highly essential.
mhm,
Thank you.
Just for the times that we're living in, it's crucial for us to be able to sit and talk and go through some of these scenarios and just different things in life, because so many people are dealing with so many things.
mhm,
Just caregivers, parents in general, many of them, they feel exhausted, they feel unseen, and a lot of times they're on edge. Like, what type of advice do you offer to that caregiver who right now they still feel unseen and
mm,
unheard, and that sort of thing?
They have to come out from their cocoon.
mm,
They have to come out from their cocoon.
I like that.
Because
mhm,
yes, because what happens is when our kid is or whatever diagnosis, since we are talking because Kat's daughter and my son has autism, we are talking, but it applies to anybody, going through whatever diagnosis or of their loved ones. Whoever is this caregiver, they need to come out from that cocoon fi- and then step out, and then they will see that the world is not, they have isolated
mhm,
themselves.
Right.
mhm,
No, and yes, they have isolated themselves. There are people, because in our head, what I was saying, in our head, we think that we worry. And then in our head, we are making all these scenarios. But because she has shared, Kyla, that's her name,
Kayla.
Kayla. So Kayla, she has shared Kayla. I have shared Parag. And
Mhm,
believe it, once you do that, there are people who want to understand. They want to
mhm,
know. Sometimes when they say things, it's not because they are mean,
Yeah.
because
mhm,
they don't know and they are trying to
mhm,
understand. So we have to tell them that. So I'll tell you one incident that happened,
mhm,
and this is very. I think it's important. So one of the teachers who I was training for Parag, we went during the training period. I take them to different places, and what happened was at the mall. Parag, like I went to order pizza, and Parag was sitting with this teacher, and Parag was very hungry, so he was staring at the man who was sitting on the next table, and he was looking at his pizza, staring.
Yeah.
mhm,
And yeah, and that man got upset because Parag to me is a kid, but to other person he's innocent, so I
Yeah.
perceive him as a kid, okay, but like to other people he's a grown-up man.
Yeah.
So
mhm,
this man, and I turned around with the tray with pizza, and I'm watching, and that man is telling, "What are you staring at?" He's like, in his kind of
Yeah.
voice raised,
Yeah.
and the teacher, she's telling Prague, look down, and I said no. I said, excuse me, Prague has autism and he's so hungry, that's why he's staring at your pizza. And the
mhm,
moment conversation changed, James,
Yeah.
that man was like, oh, I'm so sorry, come on buddy, come on, have my pizza. So the
mhm,
conversation changed.
Yeah.
mhm,
What happens is we are in our cocoon,
Yeah.
mhm.
we caregivers. So
I
that
have
is
a
what I'm trying to tell them.
exact same
That is a
same
great
story.
example.
Literally,
That is a
literally.
great example.
Mhm.
And sometimes just explaining, what's going on, or what the
Because it
situation
did.
is.
Sometimes it doesn't even cross their mind. They're
Yeah,
not even
it
thinking
probably
of
didn't
that
even
being a
register
possibility,
with them.
being a
Yeah.
possibility. And
Yeah.
so when you
Yeah.
tell them that, the next time they might stop, like you said, and think. hey, maybe this person, maybe this might be just like that cool kid I just met,
Yeah.
so those moments to educate are important, like you said, for
Yes,
sure.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So does that answer that question?
It absolutely does. I think that
And
was a great
and
example.
it's so funny because Michaela she grabs stuff. She takes people's things. And it's like she like one time we were in line for ice cream and she just went on the table and grabbed someone's cone. And I'm just like flabbergasted. Like, I'm so sorry. And like I ended up rebuying her ice cream, but we ended up sharing a table. And then I got to really, get to know the person, and they got to hang out with Michaela. But I'm like, Michaela is one that she will put you in some predicaments. So I stay on my toes with that one, okay?
Oh, yeah, and that is what, when I talk about behavioral intervention, and the
Hmm.
coping skills. So then
Hmm.
the coping skill is right now, right here. And
Hmm.
behavioral intervention is what are the things you come up to teach that thing doesn't happen,
Hmm.
or if it's a desirable behavior, how does it happen more? So that is,
That, yeah, that's
yes,
that's
so
that's
that
the
is,
one. How to decrease the one and increase the other one.
yeah,
So we've learned, and that's how I learned that sometimes she needs a sensory toy in her hand. She needs
Yeah.
something in her hand so she can focus on that, and she doesn't have to focus on how long
Mhm.
we're waiting or things like that. So it just is a learning curve. But you will have those times with our kids. It's like,
yes,
oh my God.
yes.
That's why I said I can't wait to really put a lot of my stories down on paper, because trust me, I have a lot of them.
Oh, yes, I know, and it's great in the conference. We have this, the last session is like the panels of speaker
Hmm.
Q&A, and
Yeah.
all the people, the attendees, they share their stories. Oh my
Mhm.
God, it
That's
is.
always the best part.
Yes,
Like, that's,
yes, it is. And the question answer, it's not that the speakers are just answering the questions. Somebody in the audience will take that, or they will
hmm.
tell their
Hmm.
take on it. It is beautiful. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
telling everybody out there, share, come
Hmm.
out and share your kid, because a lot of times the label, the stigma, the taboo stops.
Hmm.
And yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't say that it's not there, but what I'm trying to say is that stepping out, when you step out, you will see that the world is not what you have made it in your mind.
Hmm.
It is a kind world. It is a
Absolutely.
Hmm.
kind world,
Yeah.
and as I said, that once it is, the thing is why they are in cocoon, because they're not kind to themselves.
Hmm.
They
That's
haven't,
that's what it
they have
is.
not
Sometimes it's
put,
that shame, and it's the guilt, and it's the
yes,
expectations of how things should be. And you do. I was there. I remember going from times where my daughter could attend birthday parties without incidents, to where she was the star of the show, was
Yeah.
in more ways than one. So it's like, and then I feel like I shut down, and then I start, going into my cocoon, and just isolating myself, and then isolating her. And what I was doing was, for one, not letting her practice those skills, cutting her off from the world, and cutting us off from community. And so I really had to learn it, and I'm glad that I have a lot of family and friends that have helped me through that. I have one of my best friends on here, Charmaine. I think she had made a comment earlier, but yeah, the people that, and I had to tell what's the saying, the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter.
yes,
So I'm glad that I have, the people in my life that know, hey, I might disappear, but I'll be back. I'll be back, and I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna. Hopefully, you'll be there. So,
yes.
that's one thing I really try to, share my story, and also just, be a part of the community in a whole.
Yes, it's needed. It is
Hmm.
needed,
It's
and
needed.
as we said, that kindness is very important. First, we have to be kind to ourselves. And
Absolutely.
when
Ourselves.
we
Hmm.
isolate ourselves, it is because we want to protect our kids.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
cocoon is to protect
Yeah.
our kids.
Yeah.
But
It's
then
it's
when you
a tough
come out
gift.
of it, then you realize that in being in that cocoon, you never give them the opportunity to become a butterfly.
Right.
because they're not growing. You can't grow. You can't stay in there forever.
Yes,
So
yes.
definitely. So
So
I
that
went.
is, yeah, that is one of the big things that we have discussed today. Is to
Absolutely.
yes, to step out and then learn from each other,
Mhm.
camaraderie, the create a tribe, and then not feel alone in this journey. Because and then all of us, what today what happened is like all of us are like islands. Everybody is trying to do something, but what you have
Mhm.
done, James, is create a bridge through your platform. And today
Absolutely.
Kat and I connected, and
Absolutely.
it's
And
such
That's
beauty.
so
that was,
beautiful.
that has long, been a goal, for me to connect you and Kat. And just
Mhm.
because I knew of the similarities, with your stories and with children, and I knew that it would be a good thing. So I'm gonna do my best to get Kat there with me.
Yes, I have to come down. I'm
I know
excited.
that the conference is April 18th. If you
18.
want to, let everyone know how they can get tickets, because I know there's people watching from some of everywhere, so many people
Yes.
So
be able
it
to
is, I think we will open the registration from February, and they can go and get the tickets from asdoffgadsden.org. ASD, Autism Spectrum Disorder. That's the short form.
Okay.
ASD of Gadsden, GADSDEN, Gadsden.org, O-R-G.
Okay. So that's
Okay?
perfect. And
Yes.
what I'll do is I'll make sure that I add that to the description, so that then when people are looking, then they
Okay.
can get that as
Perfect.
well.
Perfect.
And then
Yeah.
I know that we have shared, obviously photos of both books, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to actually put this up as well, just for everyone to know that they can get both books at your website, which is www.mamtajamishra.com.
Yes.
And both of those are available there right now. This book, Energy Management, I just think that it's perfect. And again, not just for autism parents, but caregivers of any kind.
Thank,
Everybody, and
thank you.
Kat and I, our grandparents and all of their siblings have all suffered with Alzheimer's. So,
Yes.
they are, we have one remaining who is in a
Hmm.
state where she has to be cared for. What is she, 98?
24/7.
She 98 or 99 now?
Oh, she just had a
She
birthday.
just
I
had
was
a
gonna say
birthday
she
in
just
January
had a
1st.
birthday. I want to say 98.
Yeah, I think she's 98 years old,
Hmm.
and it's like she's a spitting image of my grandmother. So when I look
Hmm.
at her, it's like, wow. And she has lived the longest of 11 children,
Oh,
and she's
wow.
98, but she has Alzheimer's and has to be cared
Hmm.
for 7. And they care for her. She's not in a nursing home or anything, so she's at home.
Hmm. She's at her home, her
That is a
her
lot
original
on
home.
anybody. So
Yes.
again, whether it's autism, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's anything developmental, this
Mhm.
book is perfect for that. Um,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
if there was anything that you wanted this book to change in terms of the view of caregivers, what would that be?
Say it again, James. What do you mean?
And with the book Energy Management, what would you want, in terms of the way that people view caregivers? How would you like energy management to change that, or to alter the way that caregivers are viewed?
Care, caregivers, first thing, this is, I think it's a great question. Okay. First thing one has to know is there is a difference between caregiver and caretaker.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So caregiver
Mhm.
takes care of people.
Mm.
Okay. And caretaker takes care of things.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was.
That is very important to know.
Mhm.
Right.
And people all like everybody is a caregiver. One time I went to a talk and said, who is not a caregiver? And a couple of people raised their hands, and I'm like, that's not possible. You know, that's,
Everybody,
yeah,
yeah.
everybody is a caregiver. The day you buy a pet for your
Mhm.
kid, They become a caregiver for that pet.
Mm-hmm.
The day a
Yes.
younger sibling is born, the elder one becomes a caregiver. So
Yes.
but what we are talking about is the caregiving in terms of people who are taking care of their loved ones who have chronic disease, disorder, or geriatric care that you were talking about right now. And it takes a lot of toll, physical and psychological. So I want all the caregivers to understand that there is only 24 hours in a day. Okay. Until unless they simplify the first mantra today we talked about, they simplify, and then they have to figure out to find their tribe. They cannot be in their cocoon. They cannot. You have to come out of your cocoon.
Absolutely.
And for that, just you have to be kind. You have to forgive yourself. You cannot. When people tell me, "Oh, you are a superwoman," I'm like, "What are they talking about?" you know, you know, but the thing is, you will. Every man and woman can be a superman or a superwoman, provided they know how to manage their energy.
Yeah.
Don't manage your time. Manage your energy. Prioritize, compartmentalize, simplify. So for all that, first thing first, we have to declutter, make that space available.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say.
No, I love that. You just gave the perfect advertisement for the book.
That came from my heart. That's
I
what
mean,
it is.
but it's like you said, there's only 24 hours in a day. So, it's really about decluttering and making the time. Making the time and
Yes. Yes.
managing your energy and thinking positively, because the more positive you think, the better the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, and you will find your tribe. Once you do
Absolutely.
that, you will
Yes,
find your
that the tribe. Yes, that is one of the most important things. Like,
Yes,
and
yes,
it could come from many different ways. Friends, family, community, peers. It's
yes,
just,
yes.
so for sure,
I'm
sharing
so
that
happy to
story.
meet you, Kat.
I know, I just feel like,
Yes.
oh,
I mean, we have been talking about, and I'm like, who is Kat? And I
Right.
got the honor of meeting you.
No,
elusive cat. Yes.
I think this was perfect. I think that this was perfect. It's
Thank you,
very
James.
purposeful,
Mhm.
and it really opens the door, to what's going to happen in the future with Caregiver Connection, which is the podcast that you and I
Yes,
are doing together.
yes,
So I think this is
Yes.
perfect. We absolutely will do this again. I guarantee you, I'm going to have Kat with me when I come down there in April. Somehow,
perfect.
Yes. So
I'm
excited.
going to have Kat with me.
Uh,
Are there any final words or final comments that you want to get out there? I know we went, longer than what we planned on doing, but I think the
yes, I
conversation
mean,
was much needed, though.
this is synergy. That's why.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say to the people is, you know, don't give up hope. So hope is the only dope that we should be taking 24/7. That's what I
I
say
like
all
that.
the
I like
time.
that. I like that. Hope is the only dope that we should be taking.
Mhm.
Now, when
24/7.
I use that, I don't want you to hit me with any copyright
Right.
infringement or anything.
Copyright.
Okay. Thank you so much, James. Thank you, Kat. It's so
Thank you
nice to
so
do
much.
this
So
together.
nice to finally
Absolutely.
meet
So
you.
what I will do, once we're done, I will send you the link to the video so that then
Okay.
you can share it as you wish, and
Okay.
and then we'll talk from there.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for coming
so
on tonight.
much.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good night. Listen, everyone, I think that this was an amazing conversation. We are glad that you all were tuned in for this. I'm excited, Kat.
That was
I'm
like I told
really
you, that's
excited.
my twin. Where have you been?
Right.
Like that's how I felt like meeting her. Like it
And,
just she
and
just
I
was
knew life was life, and I was like, I said, it's something going on. I said either she's in
Listen,
traffic or something has happened. But I
no,
said
it was
she should be
just
on.
Kayla needed a bathroom SOS emergency.
Yeah,
It was one of those emergencies, had to hold her down real quick.
it's all good. I get it.
And then it's like I know our transgenders have been dealing with the snow and the weather. And so with the weather comes with the James, the technical difficulties. I know you see me popping up, popping down, popping up, like it
Listen,
just, and
I ain't
it's
even
like
worried about that. I'm just like this snow is crazy, but
this weather has been crazy. I definitely wanted to talk to transgenders about that. But yeah, it was just one of those days where it was like this was happening and it just I don't know. And somebody be having a phone on do not disturb at a certain hour, James. He said, "What? Wait a minute."
I know I forgot to turn it on, and you
You
it don't
got to
matter.
turn it on. I say I was calling you, but it wasn't ringing.
When? Well, you know what? I know. I got you. Never mind. I already
So
look.
that's
Never
why I'm
mind.
just
I got you.
but
Never mind.
yeah,
I
so
already got you.
it just yeah,
You're right.
the my internet is a little
Yeah.
spotty. The Spectrum, they was talking about the snow and stuff like that. But yeah, we are on our third day of school off, and school is also off tomorrow and supposedly rumored on Friday. So
Now they
I
went back
know
up
all the
here.
parents are like me. We all like,
Yeah, they went back up here. 'Cause
really?
I was talking to Joy. She said the boys had school today, and I think
I
that she
can't
said
believe it. So they've
they
been
might have went
down.
yesterday too, but she told me they had school today.
Oh my goodness. Well, see, the
Because
city of
I
Akron
think
and
they're
these
at a
Akron
place now.
streets.
I think they're at a place now where they've had too many snow days.
Oh yeah, they had too many calamity days. So that's what
Yeah,
happened. We still had some.
yeah.
So they're supposed to be off the whole week, but it's the
I know.
reality.
I
So,
know.
this weather has been crazy. I finally dug my car out today. Like it has just, I'm telling you, y'all, when I hunkered down, I hunkered down. Listen, we went to the store.
Listen,
Me and Kayla watched all the Disney movies in the world. So now, we talked about a lot of the cold weather. We're gonna get into a couple hot topics before we dip
yeah,
up
we got
out
a
of here.
couple for y'all. We got a couple for y'all. We're gonna be off before 9 because we actually have another show coming up tonight. Real Talk with Reese is coming.
Real talk with Reese. Yes. So I did just want to touch on a couple things coming up.
Yeah.
You guys know that in April we definitely have the Legend Awards coming up. Woo woo.
Mm. And we are the official media provider for
Official media provider for the Legend Awards, guys. And you
the
guys
Legend Awards.
know
So
that
we're gonna have a site together for that.
last year we were on the red carpet. We did the media. We brought you a lot of interviews, a lot of pictures, behind the scenes moments. And a lot of the people on the Legend Awards have been on the podcast. So listen, this year we're doing it bigger,
Listen,
better.
listen,
We ain't telling everything. We're not telling everything that's going on right now, but just
listen.
trust. It's gonna be a little more official. We
No,
gotta make sure we
it
gotta
ain't
get
just a
them.
little more.
We
It
gotta get
ain't
them
just
the contract signed, okay? And then
listen. It ain't just a little more. What did I tell you the theme of the year was?
you said we going up.
No, that ain't what I said.
Oh, which one? Which one? I
I
thought
know,
you
I
were
know.
saying ain't nowhere but up. I thought you were saying we wasn't going nowhere but up.
I said FAFO. That's what I said.
And find out. See, I'm over here thinking about the Jeffersons moving on up.
Right, right. I said hashtag FAFO. When I tell you
Listen,
we're not playing for this year, we are
not
not playing
playing,
for this year.
and it goes to show what we said. We were. It's about not worrying about who's
It,
not doing this or who you're not doing business with, and really appreciating the
right,
people that you are, and the
right.
people that are in your corner
And
and that are appreciative of you.
manifestation.
Manifestation.
Shout out to
We
Coco
have
Lynn. Shout out
listen,
to
we have
Coco Lynn and her new book.
Coco Lynn, I'm telling you,
Listen,
listen, that manifestation, and we talked about so many things we wanted to do, and it's just is really happening.
yeah,
And I talked about how I've been going through so much, and to really get some of this news that I've been getting, knowing that just because I had to take some time off and take care of family, that's not the end of it. That's not the end
oh
all
yeah.
be all. That's not the end of my,
But listen,
end of my career.
but that's
That's how I
what.
feel. Mhm.
But that is the beauty of what. That's the beauty of it's not only the beauty of what we do, but it's also the beauty of who we are as people, who we are as family, who
Hmm.
we are as a company. And
And a media
everything that
safe
we are
space. Don't
doing,
forget that. Hmm.
absolutely, we are a safe space. But I'm talking now just in general of who we are and what we
Hmm.
do and the way that we do what we do.
Hmm.
And the reason why we move the way that we move is because everything else is everything else is made to work around what we like,
Hmm.
what's happening in our lives. So,
Right. Yeah.
and we know that shit happens. We know that life be lifing. I got
Yes.
you. I know you got me. So
Always.
whether it's
Mhm.
both of us or whether it's one of us or whether Tiff Tiff is in the fold, because Tiff Tiff ain't gone
Hmm.
nowhere. Please
Ain't
do not
going
get it twisted
nowhere.
because of the fact that Tiff Tiff ain't been on the podcast. Tiff Tiff is still in the circle. So it don't matter. Like,
Hmm.
we move the way that we move for a purpose. So you got me,
Yeah.
I got you. If it's both of us or if it's one of us, we represent. So
Yeah.
2026 is ours.
It's our
2026 is
year.
ours.
I'm
And Legend
so
Awards is coming up in
excited.
April.
Hmm.
The conference that we just spoke about with Mamta is
It's
happening in
it's
April,
coming in
which we
April.
will be
Yes.
at.
Hmm.
It's a lot of stuff going
It's
on.
a lot of stuff
It's
coming
going to
on.
be
Hmm.
happening. Cincinnati Jazz Fest is happening
Hmm.
in July, which we will be at front and center. And
Hmm.
it's just a lot of stuff going on. Like, this is the year of manifesting what it is that we have set out to do, and
Hmm.
we doing good. We are doing good.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's only up from here. So
Yeah, it's really up from
that's
here.
all I really wanted to say. Just keep in
Yeah.
mind, there will be, keep watching our pages. Will show how tickets are available right now. If you go to at the Legend Awards on Instagram, and they have thelegendawards.com. Right now they're doing nominations. So you can go through and nominate. They have all kind of categories. Don't forget, there's some good podcasters and hosts and things over
Oh, for sure,
here.
for sure, for sure.
So definitely cast your votes. And we will see you guys at the Legend Awards.
And listen here, um, Cat is going to be returning with Cat Got Your Tongue. We generally do the
Soon.
yeah.
Yes,
We
yes,
usually do the
yes.
Cat Got Your Tongue segment here on the
Hmm.
show. I know we have not done a whole lot of that, but keep your eyes peeled. Stay tuned.
Keep
Because
trying. We
we
got
got some new stuff coming up,
some new
content
stuff, and I
wise, with
have
Transcending the Culture
some
and with Cat
great
Got Your Tongue.
guests as
It's a
well.
lot of stuff.
Confirmed,
Oh, great guests
confirmed.
too.
So
Yeah, great guests coming up too. And it's just a lot of stuff happening, a lot of changes, a lot of good changes that are happening
mhm,
content wise. And we're going to be getting some more stuff up here. We'll be doing some more random pop ins and random
mhm,
live. So make sure that you guys are subscribed. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you are getting the notifications for when we go live, because it's not going to always be the routine Wednesday nights anymore.
mm,
So you definitely want to make sure that you have subscribed and that you hit the notification bell so that you get the notifications of when we go live, when we upload new content, because it's going to be a lot of stuff that is coming up. And again, we are going to be popping in at random times. And you just want to make sure that you're getting it all. We'll be having some exclusives with some really,
mhm.
really dope celebs that are going to be at random times. It's not going to always be Wednesday night at 7 o'clock and that sort of thing.
Right.
You guys can see we have not necessarily consistently done a show every Wednesday because we're kind of switching some things up a little bit. So make sure that you guys stay with us. We're glad that you are here. We appreciate Mamta for coming
Hmm.
on to the platform.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you guys are tuned in the next 10 to 15 minutes, because Real Talk with Reese is going to be
Woo
starting
woo.
actually in 10 minutes. Real Talk with Reese is
Hmm.
going to be on here on the network. Soap Dish, fingers crossed, may return this coming Sunday. Listen, transparency. I'm not caught up on the show because I've been running, so I haven't had a chance to catch up on the
Listen,
show. So
you
that's
want to
the
know
reason why
something?
we have not
My
done a new
dad been
episode.
my
Like, full
dad been keeping
transparency,
me up. My dad been keeping me up on the show. He been watching. So listen,
full
we
transparency.
gonna get caught up. And when you had a sub dish, I'm gonna be right up in them comments. Okay.
Listen, full transparency. It's my fault because my mama's sitting there like, she caught up. I'm not caught up, and I refuse to have her tell me everything that's going on. So I'm gonna sit down and catch up. But It's a lot happening. A lot of new podcasts that are going to be coming. We are hitting Spotify and iTunes very soon, so make sure that you guys keep a check out for that. A lot of stuff going on. The new issue of UG Digital Magazine is doing very well. Digital issue is up at ugdigital.com, so you guys can check that out. Next issue is coming out in March, and it's a lot happening. And the time is flying. I mean, hell, that's like a month away.
Right, I know. Listen,
Flying.
January is almost over, and I ain't even
Yeah.
start my resolutions. Lord, hold on, I'm gonna start February 1st, y'all. It's cool.
So
What they say,
listen.
January was just a practice month. It
Right,
was just a trial. It was just a
right.
free trial.
Right.
I'm good. I'm good.
So
So
let's.
we will see
Yeah.
you guys when? What? We're next week.
Yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back here next week. We're gonna have a show next week. Yeah, we'll have a show next week. I actually have somebody for us for next week, so we'll start promoting that. But we appreciate you guys. I know it's a number of you guys there, watching us right now. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure that you follow us on social media. I am James Grant and Authentically James.
And at Cat Got Your Tongue. I'm sorry, Cat Gotcha, and at Cat Queen.
All right. So, Kat, I love you. It's good to see you. I'm so glad that you were on with us tonight. April, we got to get down there.
For sure.
Yeah, we got to get down there. And hang on. Once we end, so we could so I could give you some more information. But,
okay, got you.
Listen, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we are signing out. So y'all have an amazing evening.
Bye.